All right, Aj Mansour back on Westwood 1 Radio Row in New Orleans from the Final Four, and we are joined now by the head coach of UNLV, Kevin Kruger. Coach Kruger, thanks for taking some time. Congratulations on the position. Congratulations on the season.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, long time coming. Obviously, you come from a basketball family. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But you have you've put in your time. You've worked. You've been an assistant. You're now head coach. How does that feel?
Feels great. It was something I always wanted to do growing up. So, getting the nod, it still feels special. You're in.
Yeah, there are clearly some situations where decision-making and the final decision is yours now. But how different do you feel? Like you had an opportunity to be with the program prior to it. How different does it feel going from assistant to head coach when it comes to the actual coaching that you're doing on a day-to-day basis?
It is definitely different. Not gonna lie. There's just a lot more decisions that you're not weighing in on. You're making, and but it's fun because I've been incredibly lucky and fortunate to be surrounded by people that help. And if they disagree with a decision, they'll say it. If they agree with it, they'll support it. So, and there's also times where we know each other, so they can make it,
right,
and they can help take a lot off my plate because Tim Buckley especially, he was a head coach at Ball State. And he understands. He worked at Indiana with Coach Tom Crean for a while, so he knows as well as anybody how he can help me the most. And I just greatly appreciate that because, as he says, this is his saying, not mine. There's days where you're drinking water through a fire hose, and it's true.
Yeah.
And there's days where you don't really feel like you know what you're doing. So, but the people around me have made it a lot more fun, more enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely good to have those people around you. Tell me about a new head coach comes in and gets a job. Among a million other things that you're doing right away, including recruiting and getting going, culture you bring with you as a head coach. Tell me about the unique nature of being promoted from within, where you're already a part of that culture. Is there a big shift? Obviously, you bring your own attributes to the table, but that situation is unique when you are promoted from within.
Yeah, it was because, I think that, while I had a really good relationship with the players and the team, I think COVID weighed really heavily on kind of everybody just kind of looked for something different, looked for kind of a new beginning. So we ended up having one guy returning from the roster that had played minutes the year before, and 3 guys total. So with the guys that came in, the new staff, that we kind of just got to build the roster from scratch and have fun doing it and build it in the way that we wanted to through the portal. But it was just one of those things where it's got a lot of pros, and that there's some other things, of course, where you got to answer a lot of questions as to what's going to be different. What are you going to do different? And at the end of the day, we just try to make it a great experience for the guys because we all on staff had a good college experience, fun college experience. So that's what we're trying to create for the guys.
Yeah, you mentioned the portal. It's been a big talking point this weekend with the coaches we've talked to, but obviously the NABC conference as well. There's clearly, in the couple years we've had it, there's good, there's bad. I would imagine that when you said there was a lot of turnover on your team the first year you come in, that's advantageous to have an opportunity to get players with some experience, maybe looking for a different opportunity just to shake it up a little bit. The portal does add difference to the whole recruitment process, though. How does it impact recruiting high schoolers versus weighing the transfer portals and trying to put together an experienced roster, but one that you can develop into the future as well?
Yeah, I think we talk about that a lot as a staff because when you get a guy to come from high school, you've got the ability to kind of grow with them. There's a little bit more of an understanding and an appreciation for them making that move to college because that every day is different. Now they've got college classes, college practices, college expectations, which no matter where you go in high school, there's going to be a little different level and a little different expectation. And so you just got to weigh that with where the kid coming out of the portal is coming from, I think, and do you know people? I think that's what I've heard most with talking with other coaches the last couple of days is, we're never going to recruit a kid out of the portal that we don't have a connection to, whether they recruited him in high school, know a coach, and I think you're going to start seeing that a lot more. We talk all the time with our guys about college is a learning experience. You make a lot of decisions where you're still kind of protected in the umbrella of college, and you've got kind of the support system, but you have the opportunity to make decisions and live with them. And I think the portal is kind of one of them. I think I was talking with a couple guys not too long ago where I think in 10, 15 years, if somebody does articles and does a study, I think you'd actually end up probably hearing about more kids that wouldn't have left.
Right.
And but that's what college is about. It's about learning, figuring out when to make decisions, when to ask for advice, who to listen to. And I think the portal's just another kind of facet of that.
We talked to your dad yesterday. You mentioned that they're planning to move out to Vegas and be closer to the grandkids, be closer to you. If your relationship is anything like my relationship with my dad and any father-son relationships across the board, I guess, let me put it this way. When you have a father who is a successful coach, there is going to, I'm sure he chimes in and tries to give you space, but at the same time give you advice and teach you along the way. There's a balance there that I would have to imagine that you guys have to strike with that, right? This is your team. This is different than his stuff, but at the same time, he's been accomplished. He's been there and done that along the way. How do you balance that when you do have not only a father who is a coach, but is a successful coach that a lot of people know?
Yeah, like you said, you got to find the balance because, the first thing that comes to mind is, we were in February, late January, and he was like, man, you got to get such and such to do this. And I finally, I looked at him, I said, he won't do it. Okay? I'm trying to get him to do that. He's not going to do it. And it was kind of one of those moments, like almost those aha moments where he kind of looked at me like, okay, I know what you mean. Like, because as a fan you watch, and even as coaches, we're trying to get somebody to do something specific because we know or we feel they can. And sometimes they don't see it that way as a player. But no, I mean, it's 9-1 in terms of how much positive and sure. How much he helps me. But it's definitely, you can tell, unique for him. Yeah. He's never sat over there.
He's got a lot of time now, too.
Yeah, and not been in full control. I mean, it's been 45 years since he's been not had full control or 35 of a program. Right. And so it's different for him. But I appreciate all the feedback he gives me. As much as anything, though, he's helped me a ton with the non-basketball stuff.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you went there because I want you to take your basketball coach hat off for a second, if possible, at the Final Four at ABC. Kevin Kruger, again, UNLV head coach. You're also dad, and we talked to your dad yesterday about the grandkids, his grandkids, your kids. They're within the same realm of age as mine. I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old boy. They are crazy, and I have been working from home for 2 years, and I have seen what my wife goes through on a day-to-day basis. Tell me how you can balance that. Obviously, you are busy coaching, but you also have a priority to be a dad, and you put a big priority on that. How do they handle it, and how do you handle it, and maybe more importantly, how does your wife handle it?
Well, have you seen that meme about Tom Brady when he was home for a couple of weeks, and he's like, I'm going back to football.
Now he's back,
yeah. No, I mean, we've got a 2.5-year-old little Cammy girl, and, we kind of, you said, your kids are active. We haven't gotten into like softball or baseball with her yet because we're not or hockey because we're not going to give her a weapon. She's she's active, she's mobile, she's feisty, and I mean that balance there. There's no way that this year would have been any fun or without Allie, my wife, who she just makes it fun because she just kind of takes care of everything. She makes everything work, and now that we got Grandma and Grandpa coming back into town, hopefully that'll help, and she'll be able to kind of live a little bit more of her life.
There you go. I appreciate the time, Kevin. Congratulations again on a good season, the head coach designation, and good luck in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate it.